Hey folks, welcome back to Dig Drive DIY. Well, it is storm season here in the Midwest. Any day of the week we could have severe thunderstorms, threats of tornado, or torrential downpours that could cause flash flooding. In the event of any of those things, it's great to be prepared. You know that I'm prepared here at home, and we have to take great measures so that we can keep the lights on and make sure nothing gets flooded out. Well, someone in my life isn't as prepared, and so I teamed up with Jackery for this video to gift them with what I think will be a great solution for their emergency power failure needs. My parents have no solution other than my dad dragging out a generator when the power goes out. So we're gonna try to fix that. I'm gonna load up what they've provided for me. We're gonna go over to my folks. I'm gonna pick up my brother Nate, and then we're gonna surprise them with this Homepower3600 Pro Max Jackery unit. So hopefully by the end of this video, we've got a great solution in place that makes everyone sleep a little better at night. We got some work to do though.
Dig Drive DIY.
All right, so I've got the Jackery system all loaded up in the back of the truck. I've got the manual transfer switch, got the power cables, and I'm gonna head over to my mom and dad's and meet my brother there. My brother Nate is a journeyman electrician. My dad's a journeyman electrician too. But I figure between my dad and my brother, they can help me to get the Jackery system installed for my parents. And I'm hoping they're gonna be excited. They do not know they're getting it. I'm gonna stop in at my brother's right now. So if you live in an area like we do, and you're accustomed to occasional power outages like we are, then you know how important it is to have some kind of backup power source. Traditionally, most of us deal with gasoline generators. When the power goes out, you wheel out a gasoline generator, you try to get it running because it hasn't run in the last 2 years, you dump stale gas, work on the carburetor. I've done it all. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're lucky enough to get the generator going, then maybe you have a plug that you backfeed your panel to and you shut off power to the main utility company so that you don't backfeed the lines. It's a whole deal and it's pretty cumbersome and a pain in the butt. My dad has been using this method. When the power goes out, he drags out the generator, tries to get it running, then stretches the cord into the house, plugs it into the panel, and then chooses which breakers he needs in order to keep the emergency essentials up and running. Not only does my dad have the troublesome task of dealing with the gasoline generator, he also has to traverse down the stairs of their old basement. And if the lights are out and it's storming, well, that's just another risk to endure. Okay, so this is my brother Nate. So the nice thing about where we live is if power goes out, all of us live in the same square mile. So even if mom and dad aren't home when the power goes out, one of us brothers are, or if we're not home, mom and dad are home, there's almost always someone around to go tend to things. I think it's fitting that we got a Jackery because dad's name is Jack. We were going to do some quick scoping. Wanted to scope out in the basement a little bit. We've talked about it before, but needing a backup power source. So I got you a backup power system. So
how do you do that?
they sent me one and I want to install it here so when the power goes out, you'll have backup power. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to find solutions for these kind of situations. So hopefully there's room to get that transfer switch up here somewhere. This is why you got to have an electrician involved if you're going to do, I mean, it's not a complete DIY system. Fortunately, I have 2 electricians to help me, but we're picking out what circuits we're going to need to connect to the transfer switch. So once the transfer switch is in place and the wiring's done, then you can use this Jackery 3600 Pro. You could swap it out for a bigger unit if they come out with one. You can expand it, but we'll get this side of it done, and then the rest of it is pretty easy. The rest of it is DIY once you have an electrician do this part of it. All right, well, we've done some ciphering. We got some ideas. We got to get a few more supplies and then we'll be back to get her mounted up. All right?
All right.
All right. See you later.
Nothing more than 3 or 4 trips to Menards.
Right, at least 3 or 4 trips to Menards, he says. Unfortunately, my parents didn't have a manual transfer switch installed, but it was pretty affordable and easy to source one to go with their electrical panels, because what really sold me on agreeing to use the Jackery was its built-in functionality to work as an automatic transfer switch. That's right. If you already have a manual transfer switch installed, this unit could be an easy addition to your manual system that adds automatic functionality. Coupled with a 40 amp power source, the Jackery has a pass-through feature that allows it to be connected to the grid and connected to the manual transfer switch at the same time. That's mounted nearly level, nice and tight. So this is going to be our manual transfer switch. We've got to get a conduit ran from here into there. Start doing more of that stuff. In this configuration, the core circuits of the manual transfer switch are fed by a 40 amp plug. If the power from the grid goes out, then the Jackery senses it and automatically switches to battery power. So right now we're wiring up a 40 amp plug, 40 amp breaker that'll connect to the Jackery, provide power to the Jackery. And with this setup, your manual transfer switches are then set to generator source at all times. That way, there's no risk of backfeeding the panel when the Jackery takes over. And most importantly, you don't have to manually switch any of the circuits because they're already set to the generator source. So right now, we're wiring up some of our core essential emergency circuits. Sump pump, well pump, some lights, refrigerator. Okay, the electrical is done. Now we got to put the covers back on the panels and get to the fun part. Our Jackery is at 100%. We got to put it in line with our system now. We're going to connect this 40 amp plug provided from the panel, and we're going to plug that in to the side of the Jackery, and then the output front of the Jackery will go to our manual transfer switch. And then when we hit the AC button and switch these to generator, this thing is going to act like an automatic transfer switch. If the power goes out, the battery will take over within 10 milliseconds. Okay, so we're going to turn our 40 amp plug on.
So flip it up. We're going to lose the lights.
Okay.
Now you got to flip that breaker on the bottom, F.
Yep. Okay, so right now, power is routed from the 40 amp panel. It's going through the Jackery, and we have the manual transfer switch switched over to generator for just the basement power. So we've got these basement lights and the sump pump on generator. Now if Nate kills the 40 amp breaker for that one, the Jackery will sense that 40 amps is missing and it'll switch to battery backup power within 10 milliseconds. So go ahead and kill power to the Jackery.
We ready to try this?
I think we're ready. Give it a shot. Oh! Did you see the lights flicker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lights flickered.
Sump pump.
I thought I just blinked, but it was the lights.
So the sump pump and the basement are now running off the battery power of the Jackery. Oh yeah. She's drawing a little more wattage now. According to this, we could run the sump pump continuously for 5 hours if it had to run continuously. Sump pump's about to kick off, and our draw dropped significantly. Well, do you want to switch some of these other circuits
Well, I got to
on?
turn power back on to the utility.
Okay.
So it's should get it
It'll flash. There, it just switched. So we switched from backup power back to the utility power. All right, let's switch these other circuits
This
over.
is going to be the well pump.
All right, so our backup system is complete. We've got the manual transfer switch in line with our essential emergency circuits or the core circuits that we're going to use. Everything's routed through the Jackery, so now we've got automatic transfer because of the Jackery to our essential circuits. So this is going to be a great solution if you already have a backup transfer switch, a manual backup transfer switch. If you've already been using a gasoline generator, this could be a great system to put in line to kind of create an automatic transfer. They've got a lot of different ways it can be laid out and a lot of different ways it can work, and it's all in their guide. We use their little instruction guide that came with the Jackery to kind of figure out how this should be configured. Nate's going to kill the power to the 40 amp plug that's going through the Jackery, and the Jackery should take over for all those emergency circuits. So
Ready to try it?
let's kill it. There was a slight flash, and now you can see this thing is, all those circuits are running off this Jackery. You can't even tell. I can hear it ramping up a little bit, like the fan's starting to ramp up a little bit. What do you think? I think it's pretty slick, don't you?
Yeah.
We got our good friend Joe here for moral support. I'm kind of impressed. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it looks great.
it's nice not to think that I'm going to be walking outside carrying a 5-gallon can of gas to put in a generator.
Or get a generator running that you
Or
haven't
to get
started
it
for.
running that, yeah, hasn't been running for a year.
All right. Well, thanks for the help to get this set up. Is this something you'd like to have in your house? It seems kind of nice.
This would be right up my alley. I've still got to wheel out a big generator, plug it in, do a bunch of stuff. It's not nearly as safe as this. It's not as fast as this, and I've got to be home to do it. Or call you to do it.
I guess I know what I'm getting everyone for Christmas.
This is one time to when being a guinea pig is worth it.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be a great setup for your situation.
At least we didn't have to get Spicer up here.
Yeah, we were able to handle this one on our own. Check out the light switch to the basement.
What's that?
You think it's 100 years old?
The house is about 105.
That's the old school switch. That was the original switch, right?
Yep.
That is awesome. Okay, well, we will close the door on this project. Okay, mission complete. Thank you so much to Jackery for helping to provide some peace of mind for my mom and dad. And I know that if power goes out, I don't have to worry about them. And thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope you liked it. Hope you got some good use out of it. And if I'm lucky, I'll see you in the next one. Time to head for home and hope the power doesn't go out.